I worked at the UN for several years and then began doing research in development aid and the UN development agenda. So one of my main motivations for joining UNU was to be able to combine my practical and research experiences in international development, and also to be part of the large network that UNU has, not only within the UN system, but also among experts and practitioners throughout the world. My research has two main objectives. The first one is to examine China's aid in Africa in the social sector, and the second objective deals with development goals at a global level. So China has become an important provider of aid in Africa, and this is part of a general trend in which countries from the South increasingly provide assistance to other developing countries. So first, my research looks at how China provides assistance to Africa in the areas of health, education, and poverty reduction, and to what extent what China does is different from Western donors. And second, the international community is now discussing the global development framework that will follow the Millennium Development Goals after 2015. So my research is also looking at whether these Southern perspectives on social aid have an influence on the development debates that are now taking place at a global level. China considers itself as a developing country and argues that when it provides assistance to Africa, it's guided by different principles than Western donors, such as mutual benefit, win-win, no conditionalities, no interference in internal political affairs, Southern solidarity. So when China provides assistance to Africa in the social sector, it appears to be guided by its own domestic experiences, by which social policy is a driver for economic development. This is an idea that you invest in certain social areas because they will eventually contribute to create jobs and foster economic growth. So for example, China provides funding for university education, for vocational training, rather than focusing on the most marginalized groups like the poor. And this strategy is different from the one supported by most Western donors, who had focus in providing assistance to the poor and combating inequality, especially gender inequality. So far, global development has been mainly influenced by European and North American ideas. But we are seeing now new influences from the South, including from China. And protecting the poor remains a focus in the new Sustainable Development Goals. However, there is an increasing emphasis on growth for poverty reduction. So the new agenda emphasizes the role of social aid for economic growth. And although this doesn't seem to be the result of China's direct impact, these Southern alternatives of how to achieve development and social development in particular seem to create indirect pressures. And also the global financial crisis has led Western donors to increasingly justify social aid with economic development.